Today I messed up by accidentally having my neighbor's lawn removed. I am replacing my grass lawn with artificial turf, live in Phoenix, so the yard needs to get removed before turf gets installed. Yesterday I ended up paying a group of day laborers I found at Home Depot to come by the house and remove the lawn. Before going to work, I drove them by the house and showed them which house it was and told them what needed to be done. I come back from work yesterday to see the workers gone and my neighbor's entire front lawn missing, mine still there. I went back to the Home Depot and the guys aren't there anymore, and my neighbor is obviously now home from his job and has noticed the lawn. I am unsure of what to do at this point. There is basically no way for him to know what happened, since the guys just came and went. But he has been known to have a temper in the past about little stuff, so basically terrified of what comes next. Now just sitting inside watching things unfold thinking about what I should do. No one knows of my plans to replace the lawn and I'm pretty sure if I were to do it now, it would look pretty suspicious, so I'm probably not going to do it anymore. Today I messed up by calling my sister's future mother-in-law a rotten old bag. My 23F sister, 28F, has always been a pushover. I love her to death but it's sometimes frustrating how she lets people, even strangers, walk all over her. She complains and cries to us behind door but isn't able to defend herself upright ever. We all do our absolute best to be there for her but sometimes it's hard to not be frustrated. She has been engaged to her fiancé, 30M, for about 2 months now. My family wasn't happy with this development as we could see how badly his fiancé's family treated her even before the engagement. They have called her in the middle of the night to take care of his grandma or pick groceries or medication or whatever because apparently no one could despite his older brother and wife living with them and not working. They started dictating her going outs because to be married woman she shouldn't behave a certain way or go out certain places or meet certain people. My sister would literally wear her work uniform, leave the house, then go to her aunt's house and stay there all day because if they knew she was within hours they'd call her up for favors. We live fairly close and one of our neighbor's boys is related to the fiancé. Today the future mill had thrown a party in celebration of something and we were invited. We were there 20 minutes and she started grilling my sister to do this and that. Whenever we tried to say something my sister told us not to mind it so we kind of held it in. I was losing it already but I snapped when I heard the fiancé's mom, sisters and aunt gathered together chatting and laughing, then went on to making fun of my sister. I won't mention everything but I called her stuff along the line of a loose woman who is too desperate. The to-be mill said she would take time and whip her into the perfect deal. I walked up to them and asked loudly what they meant. And I didn't let it go when they tried to deflect. I probably insulted them, their ancestors, their predecessors, their husbands, their family and their lifestyle. My sister was desperately trying to calm me down but I grabbed her arm and dragged her alone and told my family to gather their things and drove us home. When we got home, no one said another word. My sister didn't blame me at all and just excused herself to her room. I frankly don't feel bad about what I did but I do feel bad for my sister. I know I have hurt her but I was just at my wit's length listening to them chat shit about her. It went to a spiral of what they would say in a more isolated meeting or how they would treat her once married if they're already horrible so confidently out in the open. I don't regret it but I feel some sort of guilt. I'd what to do. Today I messed up by leaving my junk out. Went into the J-John. Edit, Porta-John for the layman, set my phone on the lil shelf in there. Unzipped, pulled out my whiter, and released a tanker load of piss. Phone buzzed while pissing. Went hands-free piss for the phone. Read text. Answered. Stuffed phone in pocket, turned around and walked out. Now standing in middle of construction site. Feel cool breeze where I shouldn't. Feel down where the breeze is and realize, I forgot to put my dick up. It's hanging out of the zipper. I'm on a construction site that is downtown in my city. I'm downtown, in plain view, with my dick out. Luckily, there was a truck sitting nearby with the door open. I quickly sneaked to open truck door and zip up my junk. I'm not sure who saw, if anyone. There were definitely people around. Nobody said anything. Now pondering my life choices. The phone is never important while taking a piss. Today I messed up by telling teenagers that they were breeding. Some background, my mom says some weird things. When things start to multiply around the house she likes to say they're breeding. Apparently I've started saying this too. I work in a place that shares its property with a high school. We often get the school kids coming by because we have animals and they like to help out. The kids in question have been coming by longer than I've been employed there, and the place gets lonely on your own so it's nice to have someone to talk to and lend a hand. Normally there's 2 regulars that come by, but a few months back they brought another friend with them. They chop and change who comes by, so it's normally 2 at any one time, just different kids each time. This time, however, all 3 came by at once. They don't really announce their arrival, they just appear. That day I'd only seen 2 of them, so when a 3rd teenager appeared I was surprised. And for reasons far beyond me I said, "You guys are multiplying, you're breeding." Cue the cackling of 3 teenagers and 1 very embarrassed adult. I apologized profusely and made it clear that what I said was very inappropriate, but from their continued laughter I think I'm in the clear. Today I messed up by using Tinder in Colombia. This happened last night, and I want to share because my mind is off. I'm currently in Medellin, Colombia as my first stop before seeing the rest of the country. I was stupidly on Tinder as I do with most countries I visit, and began swiping. I eventually matched with this beautiful girl, we'll call her Jimena cause that's her real name. We talked for a few and agreed to arrange a date and she'll show me around town. The date went well, she showed me all the Pablo Escobar sites, and we got some really good food. We eventually went back to my hotel, and I could tell she was down. I grabbed us some drinks, she got us some weed and we were having a nice relaxing night. We talked a lot about our childhoods and past, and were having sex in between these talks. Literally just two people opening the story of their life to each other. It was really memorable and emotional. It was now pretty late, around 4 a.m., and we just kept talking. She asked me if she could be honest, and I said yeah, what's up? She mentioned her original intention in coming here was to use a drug on me which I found out was scopolamine, aka devil's breath. This drug is pretty nasty, it will turn you into a submissive zombie that follows orders for 24 hours, and could easily overdose and kill you. Seriously, look it up. She wanted to use it and empty my bank accounts and rob me, but after spending all day with me she realized I'm a genuinely good person, and decided against it. I was so taken back, my fight or flight response immediately activated and I kicked her out the room. She started crying but I honestly didn't care. By that point I literally could have lost my life last night. I called the Colombian cops and gave them her picture and name but they didn't do anything, which was pretty expected. It's now day 2, and I decided to move to a hostel in order to meet other tourists and stick with them so we can all keep each other safe. I deleted Tinder, and I'm just pondering the whole thing. I'm making this write-up in case anyone has plans to visit Colombia, and to also try to clear my head.